Okay, welcome to the webinar. In this webinar, you're going to get the only plan you need for this January to get the results you have always wanted and achieve a total physical transformation. My name is Lizzie Astin. I am a personal trainer and I've helped over 100 women achieve their goals with incredible results. I've personally lost 38 pounds and everything you'll learn in this webinar today was used by me to achieve that goal. Just bear with me a second, we're having a technical issue with the slides. We are live today. Okay, we're on it. So really the point of this webinar today is to give you everything you need to get the results you want in January, but really what I want you to do is be able to relax over Christmas because we've got it covered for January. We have got a plan that's going to get us everything we've wanted. So a little bit about me, for those of you that don't know me or haven't met me, I specialise in total physical transformation. I'm a fitness blogger and a nutrition expert. I'm also a certified personal trainer. I work exclusively with female busy professionals who are killer in the boardroom but maybe struggling in the gym. My specialism is in weight loss, and through coaching and strategy I get results fast that last. I'm known for my ability to motivate, educate and get results for women that have previously struggled to get the results they dream of. So on to today's webinar, what's going to happen? You're going to learn all the exact strategies and tools I use with my personal clients to get the results you have always wanted. These are the exact things I've used both to get my own transformation and the transformation of my own clients, and I'm going to go through them with you today. You are going to learn how to integrate your physical transformation into your busy schedule, how you can actually eat to burn fat. You can actually reprogram your metabolism to dramatically change your results, how you can make minor adjustments to your current workout program and make it almost twice as effective with no extra time. But you're also going to discover the primary reason that you're not getting the results that you want. And at the end, we'll have a live question and answer session. So you can ask me anything that you perhaps weren't sure of in the webinar, or perhaps anything that you didn't feel was covered and you just need a little bit more clarity on. I'll be there to answer any questions you have. So I know you've been to webinars before, you've heard the big promise, and maybe you're a little bit sick of going away none the wiser with a plan that you can't actually implement. You've been promised miraculous results that fail to deliver. You've been given brand new information that isn't actually that new after all. There's not going to be any of that marketing mumbo jumbo on this webinar. These are going to be real language. I'm going to talk about things you understand, that make sense, that you can implement immediately to start your own personal journey. There's not going to be any fads and there won't be any false promises. And I'm going to tell you now, if you want a result, it will take work and it will take dedication. So it's the 21st of December. We've got 4 days till Christmas. So why are we thinking about getting a weight loss result now? Well, I think it's almost inevitable around about this time of year that everyone's going to put on a few pounds. There's an abundance of food, alcohol, more social situations, and of course your diary is jam-packed, so you're not going to have as much time to work out. So let's just accept that it's going to happen. And let's stop stressing about it. Stress is not going to do us any good in this situation. What we're going to do is come up with a plan to kickstart your transformation in January, because I know personally that if I've got a plan for afterwards, whether it's because of Christmas or a holiday that I'm going on, if I've written down and I've got the steps that I can complete after the damage is done, I can relax and enjoy whatever it is that's about to happen. So that's exactly what I'm doing for you today. I'm giving you a plan. So you're on this webinar and you're probably thinking, well, is this the right webinar for me? Does Lizzie understand my lifestyle and what I need? Well, this is who this webinar is for. So you'll be working in a corporate job. You probably don't have much time or energy to prepare meals. You're not one of those people that's going to be packing 5 Tupperwares worth of food that you might see on Instagram or Facebook. And working out is a little bit of a struggle to fit into your schedule at the moment. Your job is coming first. You're probably doing really well in your job. In fact, you're progressing quickly. You feel really successful, but you're not feeling that confident in social occasions because you just don't have the physical body that you want. You may be a dress size over, you've got 10 pounds to lose, and you just want a little bit more confidence in that area of your life. You'll have at least 10 pounds to lose. I'm not looking for someone to lose 3 pounds. That's probably water weight. I'm looking for someone who wants a transformation, who wants a noticeable result. And you'll be someone that is results driven. You're highly successful in your career, and therefore you'll have the same attitude to your physical transformation. And of course, if it is for certain people, that means it's not for certain people. So if you're not really looking for a transformation, if you're not looking for the kind of result where people go, wow, you've lost weight, or wow, have you done something, or, you know, oh my God, you look amazing, then this program is probably not going to be for you. If you're not willing to make some changes to your lifestyle, you have to accept if you're going to get a dramatic result, you're going to have to make some changes. Nothing came easy, nothing came overnight. So if you're happy as you are and there is no room for maneuver, save your time. This webinar is probably not for you. If you're not really interested in your health or long results, this is not fads and this is not quick fixes. So if you want to do a shake diet and lose 10 pounds of water weight, that's fine. But if you want healthy long-term results that last, then stay on the webinar. This is going to be for you. Okay, a few house rules to establish at the beginning. I'm not going to be any fake expert, and there'll be no fake testimonials. All the information I give to you will come from myself and will be based on the results of myself and my actual clients, all those women that I've already helped. Lose 10 pounds in 2 days after Christmas? I'm afraid not. That's not going to be happening on this webinar. So if that is the kind of result you're looking for, then, you know, by all means go and find that, but it's not going to be on this webinar, I'm afraid. My results are not typical. I can achieve these results. The exact steps I'm going to give you today will achieve those results, but only if you work for it. You're going to have to follow them. You're going to have to stick to the plan, and you will get the result. You'll have to show dedication. It's all about simple steps that you can implement immediately that lead to a long-term result. So you'll need to show dedication, you'll need to show conviction, and you'll need to be committed to the cause, and it will work. You will get the result. So let's be committed to the outcome. You may find that you have a goal of losing 10 pounds. If in the first week you have not lost 10 pounds, you must still have the vision to stay the course and get the results. So stay committed, and you want to have that more than you want to not have that. I'm going to give you all the steps you need, but I cannot take responsibility for your ability to implement what I teach you. That is going to have to come down to you. So if you don't feel you can commit to implementing it, I'm afraid you're not going to get the result. So I know what you're probably thinking. It's easy for me to say, I'm a personal trainer. I pretty much live in a gym, it's fair to say. And I do know a bit about nutrition, and I have been able to implement that into my lifestyle. But I do want to go back a bit. I do want to tell you a little bit about my own story, because actually, when I lost the weight, I wasn't a personal trainer yet. I gained 38 pounds on the around the world trip. Now, for those of you over in the US, that's about 18 kilos, something around about there. It's just shy of 3 stones, so it's a good chunk. It's a good amount of weight. It's definitely noticeable. At the time, I worked in a corporate job. I was in a management position, so I had lots of client entertainment, lots of hotel rooms, 3-4 nights a week. I wouldn't necessarily be using my own kitchen, using the gym that I was used to, and so on. So I had that busy lifestyle that I know you're very familiar with. And I had absolutely no idea how I was going to lose the weight. I'd never had to diet before. I'd never had to lose weight before, and I was completely lost. And here's what happened multiple times. I committed to losing the weight, But a year later, I had barely lost a pound. I'd lost a pound, I put it back on. I lost 2, I put 2 back on. I hadn't actually changed my weight overall for the following year. But I knew the answer existed. I wasn't going to give up. I was totally committed to getting back to a size I was comfortable with. And I found the answer. I'm going to share that exact steps with you now. But over the next 6 months, I was able to lose 38 pounds and get back to a much more confident me and a much happier weight. So into the webinar. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is your schedule, or schedule if you're in the US. I know they hate the mispronunciation there. So we've established that obviously your job is taking up a lot of your time. I know that often the 5 o'clock finish turns into 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and you know, often by the time it comes to the end of your working day, you're done. You're ready to go home and you're exhausted. So we're going to talk about things first. I'm going to skirt around the subject here. You're going to have to start moving your body more than walking up and down the office or standing up in the boardroom delivering a presentation. We're going to have to get you working out. And there's only one way to make that effective and make that fit into your schedule. You're going to have to do it in the morning, and you're going to have to get up half an hour earlier. Now, my experience tells me that if you schedule a workout for the evening, and a boardroom or a conference call comes up or runs over, that is going to get pushed to the back of the list, and it's not going to happen. I've had classes booked for 6:30, a conference call runs over to 6:15. I'm thinking, if I leave now, I'll make it. If I leave in 3 minutes, I won't. And before you know it, you've missed yet another workout. But if you make it part of your day as opposed to an addition to your day by getting up in the morning and getting it done, there's nothing to stop it happening apart from you, and you're in control of that. So getting up half an hour earlier, believe me, you'll get used to it very, very quickly. There's a couple things you can do to make it easier. The main thing is get prepared the night before. Get your workout gear by your bed, good to go. So you've got absolutely no excuses. You're not fumbling around at 5, 6, 6:30 in the morning looking for your trainers or whatever. So you're going to get up half an hour earlier and you're going to get your workout done. There's no excuses on that one. 20 minutes a day, that's all you need to be doing. Evening workouts just don't work. We've covered that. We know that's not going to work for you. So what do I recommend? Well, I recommend 3 cardio-based workouts and 2 weight training sessions for maximum results. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the webinar and how those actually break down to be the most efficient, but that's how I'd start planning your workouts. 20 minutes every single morning, 3 cardio, 2 weight training. Second thing we're going to talk about is how to lose weight and increase your energy. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about macronutrition. Now, for those of you that don't know what macronutrition is the key components of a healthy diet. And we have 3 major food groups there. We have our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. I'm going to talk to you a bit about those individual food groups and how they behave in the body and how to use them most efficiently to get the results you want whilst not being hungry and actually reprogramming your metabolism to get results faster without any extra effort. So carbohydrates, or carbs as we've come to fondly know them after the Atkins diet shortened that for us. Carbohydrates are basically chains of sugar. The longer the chain, the more complex the carbohydrate becomes. So we have a simple carbohydrate, which would be a fruit or a white refined sugar, and then complex, which would be our whole grains and our sweet potatoes and good things like that. The longer the chain of sugar itself, the longer it takes for the body to break down and use for energy. So if we consume a simple sugar, we get what's known as a sugar spike. And when we consume those more complex carbohydrates, we'll get a slower release of energy throughout the day. The challenge with eating simple sugars that cause those sugar highs is insulin is released. And that is the body's natural reaction to the consumption of high sugar. But when that's happening, when insulin is being produced, the body will stop burning fat. So that is why consumption of white refined sugars can cause you to hold on to fat and stop the body from breaking it down. That is why I recommend eliminating simple sugars apart from fruits because they contain fibre and that slows down the release of the sugar. So carbs can be stored as fat. Well, it's not quite as simple as eating too many carbohydrates makes you fat, but what happens if you don't burn those carbohydrates off is they are stored as fat. So the simple way to get around that is eat carbohydrates in the morning and the early afternoon when you're going to use the energy to burn them off. And after about 4 o'clock, stop eating them altogether. You won't need any more carbohydrates to fuel you throughout the day. I will tell you what you will be eating, excuse me, after that point in the day, but you won't be having any more carbohydrates. They're just not necessary. So we're just going to cut them out of your evening meal. It's a really simple thing to do. Just take them out of the evening meal. Loads of vegetables in your evening meal and some proteins and you're good to go. Proteins. Proteins are basically the building blocks. They are what our body is made of and what's used to repair muscles. They're vital for keeping our organs healthy and helping recover after a workout. They're made of 12 branch chain amino acids. We don't need to go into any more detail than that, but there are two sources. You've got animal and you've got plants. So you can get plenty of protein if you're vegan or vegetarian. Just make sure you're getting a wide source of proteins. Proteins require a little bit more work for the body to break down, so consuming them in the morning will boost your metabolism throughout the day, make you burn at a more efficient rate, so that's a hack for losing weight right there. But they also keep you fuller for longer, so they keep you satiated, which makes you less likely to snack. And snacking is a big challenge for a lot of people. It's the meal that most people get wrong. It's the vending machine, it's the snack trolley, it's the Costa, you know, or the Starbucks, whatever it is, it's a meal that people get wrong. So if you can stay satiated by consuming protein, you're less likely to reach for those not so nutritious snacks. Have protein at breakfast is a great idea. Eggs are fantastic breakfast, and if you're not an egg fan, then protein shakes are personally, I think, the way forward. It's so convenient, they're so simple to consume. You just shake it up and go. So if you've got a busy schedule, breakfast is not a priority, make a shake, get some protein in you, stay satiated to lunch, and get your metabolism fired up first thing in the morning. You do also need protein for repairing muscles, so that comes from general wear and tear, but more specifically I'm talking about working out. So if you are working out and you are doing damage to your muscles, that is all part of the process. It's nothing to fear, but you do need to make sure you're getting the repair. Again, protein shakes are a fantastic option for post-workout, and I would thoroughly recommend looking into getting something like that. Or if you prefer, just make sure that you're getting a protein meal in 20 minutes to an hour after working out to undo any damage that you may have done. Okay, fat. It's so commonly misunderstood. I have so many clients say to me, fat means fat though, right? Well, actually, no. But there are different sources of fat, and we need to understand the good and the bad. Fats are essential. They protect our organs. They are a secondary source of fuel, and our brain is actually made 50% of fat. So we need to have fats in our diets. It also massively aids digestion. So if you're not getting fat into your diet, you will struggle to have good digestion, struggle with bloating and so on. Again, we've got two main sources, plants. So we're thinking avocados, olives, coconuts, and then we've got animals. So obviously our dairy and our red meat. White meat too will contain fat as well. Cholesterol is something that's very commonly misunderstood. It's not something that is within food. It's something the body produces as a reaction to the consumption of fat. And there are two types of cholesterol that our body produces, good in simple terms and bad in simple terms. If we consume good fats, such as avocados, nuts, and coconut oil, our body will produce what is called HDL, or high density lipoproteins, and they are good cholesterols. They actually protect our body. But if we are consuming bad fats, such as cheeses, lots of steaks, pork belly, those kinds of things, we are going to be producing the bad kind of cholesterol, and that is the kind of that we don't want. So really you want to be limiting those foods to about once a week or so. Fats are really, really important to be getting into your diet, but it's really important that you look at portion control. The reason for that is fats are 9 calories per gram. Carbohydrates and proteins are 4. So when you look at your plate, you want your fat to be about half the physical size that the carbohydrate and protein is. Otherwise, obviously, your calories are going to be considerably more, and that can lead to weight gain. So my recommendation is coconut oil in the morning in your coffee is fantastic. It is 60% medium chain triglycerides. What those are is the most instantly consumable source of energy to the human body. So it's never stored, it's used straight away for energy. The best way to get that in, put it in your coffee in the morning. Absolutely fantastic. Boosts your metabolism, fills you up, and gives you energy immediately. Also tastes really, really nice. Another way is avocados. I absolutely love avocados. I think avocados and eggs is a fantastic breakfast option, or you can blend them into your smoothie as well. So another great option of getting them in. Like I say, just beware of those bad fats that you are consuming. It doesn't mean never, it just means not too much. If you are having a high fat meal, for example, you are going out for dinner and you do fancy the red meat on the menu, that's absolutely fine. Just add a green salad to it. It increases the metabolization of fats and also has an alkalizing effect. What alkalicity does is it gets the blood back to where it wants to be. The blood is naturally alkaline, so we want to maintain that homeostasis, which is where the body naturally wants to be. When the body gets too acidic, the cells will hold on to a layer of fat to protect them. From obviously an acidic environment, they want to protect themselves. So when we create an acidic environment, we basically stay fat. Acidity is caused by numerous things, but red meat is one of the main offenders in most people's diets. So if you are having something high fat, add in a green salad, you'll alkalize and you'll metabolize the fat a lot faster. A digestive hack for you. So this is how we program our metabolism. We're not doing any extra effort, but we can be a lot more efficient, have better digestion, and also feel kind of lighter, have more energy. We're going to separate our proteins and our carbohydrates. It's really quite simple to do. You'll get into a habit of doing it. You need to understand what foods make up proteins and what foods make up carbohydrates. But once you start separating them, you'll find that you run a lot more efficiently and you feel a lot better and you will be losing weight. There's a very good reason for that. When you consume protein, it digests in an acidic environment. So your saliva will stimulate the stomach to produce hydrochloric acid, which is what is required for protein to break down. Whereas carbohydrates will need an alkaline environment to break down. So when you consume them together, and if you think of some traditional meals that you may have had in your childhood or may still enjoy, for example, spaghetti bolognese, roast dinner, rice and curry, all of these are massive combinations of proteins and carbohydrates. And what happens is you produce both acid and alkaline in a neutral environment. And what happens in a neutral environment is nothing breaks down, and that's why you feel uncomfortably full for a really, really long time, because it is literally sitting there fermenting in your stomach. So what you're going to do is separate those foods and eat them about 2 hours apart from each other, and then your body will very, very efficiently burn, excrete what it doesn't need, and be able to take maximum nutrition from the individual food groups. Okay, we're going to talk a bit more about working out now. We've already established that working out is going to be essential to your success. So let's talk about how we can make our workouts as good as possible. So when we work out, obviously we've got the period of time that we're working out, and then what's known afterwards is the recovery. If you train right, you can actually burn calories during the recovery, and what is burnt during the recovery to aid your recovery is fat. The way we do that is to work anaerobically. Anaerobically means working without oxygen, and it basically means training at a higher level of intensity. Aerobically, you would be doing, for example, a cardio run where the only waste product is carbon dioxide and water. Training anaerobically, there are some other waste products, and your consumption of oxygen increases after the work has done, and that's where the raised calorie burn comes from. The simplest way to do this is to introduce interval training. Interval training means, rather than, for example, when you're running, maintaining a steady pace, it means varying the levels of intensity. So you may do a sprint, a walk, a jog, a run, a sprint, or you may do it in much more simple terms and walk for 2 minutes, sprint for a minute, walk for 2 minutes, sprint for a minute. What that does is it increases your oxygen consumption for after exercise for up to 24 hours. So you are continuing to burn calories at a raised level being done. And the second thing you're going to introduce, and if you're not doing this already, I implore you to try it. We'll change. We're going to start lifting some weights, or also known as resistance training. You may see it referred to. A lot of females get a little bit worried that lifting weights will make them bulky. Let's just put a stop to that immediately. You do not have the levels of testosterone required to get big muscles. The only way you're going to get big and hench is if you take some horrific supplements, which I trust none of you are going to do. Resistance training will increase your muscle mass. Muscles take more energy to keep them alive than fat, so your body will require more calories just to function at a basic level. So basically you're going to be super efficient even when you're sat down on your bum. So build some muscle, don't be afraid to do it. Start lifting some weights. You can start with pure body weight exercises, and then you can bring that up and increase it and start adding some weights, for example dumbbells or kettlebells as well. I'm going to come on to my final point now. And really, I've given you the strategies and tools you need. If you follow those simple steps, you'll get the results you want. That's about 20% of why you're going to get the result you want, and the last 80% is in 0.5. So listen up carefully. Why are you not getting results at the moment? You're an achiever. We've established that. You work hard. You're doing really well in your career and you're on the up. You're someone that's driven by results, but you've never had a plan that you know works. The problem is when you're driven by results, you want that kind of result in all areas of your life. So, for example, you feel you're putting in the work and you're not seeing visible results in a week or two, you're much more likely to give up because you're driven purely by results, and that's where you get your sense of satisfaction from. So if you've been trying things and they haven't worked, you'll give up way before you get there. You need a plan that works. The plan I've just given you has created results for over 100 women and myself, and it will be absolutely no different for you. This plan will work if you follow it. So you need to get an idea of exactly what you want to achieve. Then you need to go back through and think about how you're going to achieve that using the tools and strategies that we've just talked about. So what happens next? Well, everything in this webinar will work. It will give you all the tools that you need, but your job now is to implement it. All the information I've given you tonight is completely free. I'm not asking for anything from you. Now the question is to you is, will you implement the information that I have given you and get that result that you want? If you are keen to take your personal results to the next level, I am offering a limited number of free strategy sessions. They're completely free, and it will be a 60-minute one-to-one call with myself where we will go over your personal lifestyle goals, your current challenges, exactly what it is that you're looking for, and I will give you even more information on exactly how you can get there. Just click the link below and it will take you into booking your strategy session. I've only got 10 spots available. I do have limited time and I do have a full diary of clients. So if you do want to book one of these strategy sessions, please click the link below now. It will take you to my calendar. You can book yourself in and we will get on the phone as soon as possible. So we're going to go now to a live question and answer session. So if anyone's got any questions for me, please type them in and I will answer for the group. Okay, so Louise from Southampton, hi Louise. She said, is it okay to drink coffee? Yes, absolutely. Coffee does cause an acidic reaction, as we discussed earlier, with the benefits of alkalicity. So I wouldn't necessarily suggest you're drinking it all day. However, one coffee in the morning, like I say, with some coconut oil, is going to have great results. And if it wakes you up and gets you fired up for the day, it certainly isn't going to do too much harm. My massive recommendation with coffee, to give you an extra 50% of caffeine without consuming any more coffee, is to consume it with pink grapefruit. It increases the half-life of caffeine. So if you have pink grapefruit and caffeine together, you get a little bit more bang for your buck, as it were, and you'll just feel the buzz for a little bit longer. So yes, have coffee, just don't have a frappa, mappa, kappa, syrup, blah 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 cappuccino from one of the chains, because I can guarantee it's about 400 calories. Just black coffee with coconut oil, bit of milk, but keep it simple when it comes to coffee. Okay, Myra from Manchester, this is a good one. So how late is too late for dinner? Well, I know that quite often the challenge is you finish work, you haven't got any food in, you get food on the way home from work, you then cook, and before you know it's 9 o'clock, and really you tend to go to bed around about 10, 11 because you've got another early morning. What we should be doing with our meals is eating in the reverse that we probably brought up with. So breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, although I didn't like that, so let's go with prince, and dinner like a pauper or a servant. So have your biggest amount of calories and your biggest meal in the morning, a good sized lunch, and then a small dinner. Your evening meal really is for repair and recovery, so light fish or eggs or meat or tofu or chickpeas, anything with a decent protein content, and lots of vegetables will be perfect for the evening. Just keep it light, and really you want to be going to bed about 2 hours afterwards, just so your body's had a bit of time to digest before you go to sleep. If you are eating really late at night, just keep it really small, just enough that you can sleep and you're not starving hungry. Okay, Joan from London, so what are the best vegan protein sources? There is no reason that as a vegan you can't get a complete protein, and there's no reason you can't get enough protein. You do have to be a little bit more inventive though. So there are substitutes. Obviously you've got things like tofu. I know you can't have corn because it is made of eggs, but tofu and something called, I think it's pronounced Satan, you'll have to forgive me if that's incorrect, but if you look at the protein content of, for example, something like a quinoa, a buckwheat, any bean or legume, you'll have fantastic amount of protein in there. So really good things to get in. But when you're looking at your portion sizes, just remember that the grams of protein per 100 grams will be slightly less. So don't be afraid to have a little bit more, just to fill you up as well. Okay, Rosie from Bristol. If I miss breakfast because I'm in a rush, what should I be having? Again, you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I know how easy it is to run out the door and miss it entirely. So just be prepared for that. There's loads of great protein bars available on the market. So if you're not a fan of shakes, which is my #1 go-to, I thoroughly recommend buying protein powder, plant protein all the way. And you can just buy one of those shaker bottles and shake it up in the morning. But if for any reason it doesn't suit you, some people don't like milkshakes, it's fine. And they can, you know, they can have a similarity in the flavors. Go for a protein bar. Again, there's loads available on the market. Just go natural. Have a look at the ingredients, check it's not full of lots of things you don't recognize, and just buy a pack, so that if you are finding that you're missing breakfast, then that's probably going to be a good option. Keep it in the car, keep it in your drawer at work, wherever it is. Just make sure you've got something, and then as soon as the available opportunity is there, make sure you go and get something good to eat. Okay, okay, just one more question now, and then we'll wrap it up. Sean from Cardiff. So why can't I cut out carbohydrates completely? So we all know no carbs before marbs. We all heard about, you know, the Atkins diet and people losing dramatic amounts of weight and so on. Carbohydrates are essential for energy. In fact, it's that energy that your brain functions on. So if you cut out carbs completely, you will be irritable, you'll be tired, and you literally won't have the energy to function. Not just in a physical way, but mentally, you know, you'll be fatigued, exhausted, and on a cellular level, so your body just won't be functioning well. The most important thing is when you consume carbohydrates, just remember that because they are energy and they need to be burnt off, you want to be consuming them early on in the day or before exercise, so they're not stored as fat. So hopefully I've covered everything for you this evening. Now remember, if I haven't covered everything for you, then you are absolutely entitled to a free personal strategy session with myself, and you can register now by clicking on the link. We will go through your personal lifestyle goals. We'll talk a bit about what it is that you're trying at the moment, what has and hasn't worked, and we'll come up with an action plan so you have all the tools and strategies you need to get the result and the physical transformation you want this January.